How's it going, guys? It's Tanner. This is my chapters 1 and 2 quote link. For my first chapter, my first quote that I came across was on page 15, and it is, "We learn more from people who are different from us than from those who are similar to us." What I believe the author means by this quote is that people who are of the same cultural background tend to have the same way of thinking. But if you get multiple people from different cultural backgrounds who are raised differently, we will come up with new ways of thinking. When I read this quote, made me think about when I worked in North Dakota in the oil field. I worked with guys from different cultures all over the world. We would have to work together a lot of the times and come up with new ideas, and just having all of us from a different background made it easier to have different perspectives on the way we're doing things and coming up with new ideas. Listening to those people from different countries, problem solving, there was a lot of differences. It taught me a lot about the way that we can utilize our resources. I think the quote really made me think back to those times and how much I learned from people who were so different from me. My second quote for the first chapter was on page 21. "Without interaction with outsiders, differences become difficult to understand and difficult not to judge." What I think the author means is don't be so quick to judge someone just because their beliefs are different than yours. Be willing to open up and learn about the other culture instead of seeing your own culture as the center of the universe. This quote resonated with me from an old job that I had. The company I was working hired 2 guys from Iraq. I had never been around that type of culture, so the first thing I did was judge them. Everything I've ever heard about anything about their culture is off the news or social media. So yeah, we ended up actually becoming pretty close friends, still friends to this day, keep in touch. But for me to go and judge them right off the bat like that was wrong. I should have went up to them and introduced myself and been more open-minded about it instead of so judgmental. But they actually, after we became friends, they explained to me everything that they grew up and went through. So that was nice to understand where they came from instead of just assuming. So that's what I thought about that quote. For my chapter 2 quotes, my first one was on page 37. It is, "By having an open-minded attitude that motivates our behaviors, we generate intercultural interest and curiosities in the intercultural rating process." What I believe the author is saying here is that everywhere you go, keep an open mind and make sure your behavior matches. With 2 people of different cultures, there will be things that will interest them and make them curious. Those things could be good or bad. That's why making sure your behavior matches the open-minded attitude you want to have to learn new cultures is important. What I got from this quote after reading it, I couldn't help but think about myself and not having an open mind in certain situations, whether it be work or at the grocery store. With me not knowing information I have learned in the last week in this class, my behavior would raise some flags for someone of a different culture and myself having a conversation. For my second quote was on page 36. "The criteria of communication appropriateness, effectiveness, and adaptability and creativity can serve as an evaluative yardstick of whether an intercultural communicator has been perceived as being flexible or inflexible." What I think the author means by this statement is that On your journey to becoming educated in intercultural communications, you need to look back on seeing these stages and grading yourself. Is my behavior and posture right? Is our end goal the same? If so, am I willing to adjust my behaviors and goals? Keep yourself on a grading system and will help you to become a flexible communicator. Jeez, I couldn't get that one out. I believe this quote stuck with me because I think everyone needs to hold themselves accountable on this journey to becoming a flexible communicator. I also believe that understanding these three criteria, I will be able to raise my kids to be flexible communicators instead of raising them to be uneducated and being not understanding different cultures and just judging. So those are my quotes for chapters 1 and 2. Thank you.